That's right. Today we're going to do Yukgaejang. This stew, probably one of my top 3 Korean stews. Every time I go abroad and I come back to Incheon Airport, it's the first like spicy thing I want to eat. Sit down and have a bowl of Yukgaejang and I'm like, oh. All right, first things first, get your biggest pot out. We're gonna use a fair amount of water. And this recipe is originally from a TV show that we saw. It's trending now. It's called Sumin의 Banchan, and it's basically home-style cooking. Let's start off with a piece of beef brisket. You see that there's a lot of fibers. This is perfect because we're gonna pull it apart with our hands and shred it. Put this into our pot. 3 liters of water, which is roughly 13 cups, thumb-sized piece of ginger. Peel this and chop it up. Toss these pieces in, and that ginger is going to help get rid of that really beefy smell. We're going to add some dashima pieces. Dashima pieces have these natural salts, which really give the broth a lot of good flavor. iPhone-sized piece in, high heat, and bring it up to boil. Don't add the lid so all of the smells from the beef can fly away. All right, and once this comes up to boil, we're going to take out the dashima pieces and we'll also skim off that scum on the top. Dashima pieces out, and now we'll put the lid on and I'll reduce this to a low. Good. That way it can gently boil and all of our broth doesn't like evaporate. Let's put 1 hour on the clock. This is fern or bracken. We've worked with this one before. We've made it into a banchan. And I still remember from my younger days in the US, my parents would take me to go find some fern break in the mountains. And I remember hikers would be so intrigued at why we were picking these. Because, you know, no one eats this. But we were picking it to make this soup. I'm going to just grab 1 big handful, or around 200 grams. And at Korean Marts, they'll either sell it dried or pre-soaked like this. If you buy the dry ones, you want to just put this in cold water overnight. That way it turns soft like this. Otherwise, it's very, very hard. I'm going to just give this a quick wash. And this next ingredient, I'm not sure if every Korean market actually sells this. This is in Korean called torande, and it's actually the stems of taro. Likewise, I bought the pre-soaked one, but if you buy the dried one, overnight again. Another quick rinse. After you wash these, squeeze the water out of them. That way the marinade, which we're gonna make, sticks to them well. It reminds me of dreads. Yeah, man. Just make them finger length. And same thing for this. By the way, if you find any pieces that are almost woody, that's like hard, just throw that out. And typically when we season namul banchans, which are mountainous root vegetables like this, we usually use soup soy sauce. But if you don't got it, totally fine. Just use regular soy sauce. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of soup soy sauce. That's 1, or regular soy sauce. And then 2, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Good. And then just mix this in. I'm gonna put in the same seasoning into this one as well. All right, and I'm very excited to taste this in the soup because I don't get a chance to eat this often. And now we need to add some aromatics. 1 full onion, chop it up. These 2 Cheongyang chili peppers, which have most of the heat. You can replace this with 1 jalapeno pepper. These guys have no heat. It's just for color. Cut it at an angle. And then spring onions, 3 stems, and I'm gonna use all the way up to the greeny bits. Measure 1 finger length and cut them to that length. All right, something like that works. Good. We're gonna also throw in some fresh oyster mushroom. Chop the stem off. Now there's one other thing that we need to make. After all, this is spicy beef soup. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. 1/3 cup of gochugaru, Korean red chili pepper flakes. And Daniel, what are you doing? I know. And then 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Mix it up. Put this in the microwave for 2 minutes. All right, now be very careful when you take it out of the microwave. And you can see we have our own chili oil right here. Put a little strainer down and let's make ourselves a nice Korean tea. Fancy some crumpets? This should be more or less 1/3 cup. Or the other option is to just buy some chili oil. All right, after 1 hour, I'm gonna open this up. Let's quickly scoop out the ginger pieces. Then let's grab our meat piece out. So let this cool down for a little bit. And as you can see, all the fat that was in between the meat has melted into the broth. Now my favorite part, you just pull out this and you just make little shredded pieces like I'm gonna cut this in half actually. When I was young, I never knew how much time this Yukgaejang actually took. But now doing this myself, I think about my mom. And look at this beauty. Right now, I'm really so tempted to just... Now for seasoning, we're gonna use the same ingredients. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon of soup soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Good. And here, since we've worked hard so far, you could take a bite, sample. This would be a good banchan in itself. Very good. Neighbors, put this on a high heat. Let's put our homemade chili oil in. Right now they're shy and they don't want to mix together. And now let's put in everything that we prepped. Let's put in the beef, our fern or bracken. Don't put all the juices in, just the veggies. Then our taro root, torande. Again, just vegetables only. Stir this around just a little bit. Let's put our mushrooms in as well. Our onions. Then our chili pepper. Save 1 or 2 for garnish. Our spring onions. And instantly, this becomes a little ecosystem. And then we're going to top this off with one last round of aromatics. We'll put in 2 tablespoons of gochugaru. The second one. 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And 2 tablespoons of soup soy sauce. That's 1. And the second one. And neighbors, just look at this. This is the before. All right, and once it comes to boil, we're going to give around 30 minutes on high heat without the lid. All right, 30 minutes is up. Just want to take a quick look at this. Oh gosh. We're going to give it a little bit more time. Let's put a lid on. And let's reduce this to a low. And we'll let it gently simmer for 20 minutes. All right, 20 minutes is up. Let's take a look. Oh my. All right, and guys, take a look at the ingredients. There's the beef, the fern, and then the taro roots, the mushrooms. Oh, let's take a quick sample of the broth. Woo, it's amazing. This is beyond restaurant quality, like a museum quality. We need to preserve this. The broth is spot on for me, but if you find it a tad bit bland, you can add a few sprinkles of salt. This now is your master pot. Get a few spoonfuls into a smaller pot, along with some broth. And I like to add Korean glass noodles. This is tangmyeon, which is made out of sweet potato starch. I like to add it to each individual serving. Get the broth over the noodles and watch it sizzle away. Ah, beautiful. See the noodles in here now? Beautiful. And ladies and gents, there it is. Wow. Of course, don't eat the soup by itself. It's spicy. Get a bowl of hot, fresh rice. Get a few pieces of the meat and some of the noodles. Then you just mix it into your rice. Then get a little bit of the broth. And then you just take a big bite. Wow. I mean, the same taste that I have at restaurants, and it's just amazing to replicate it here. And neighbors, whoo, thanks for hanging in there. What do you guys think? You guys want to try making this at home? My lips is already a little bit numb. The endorphins, they're swimming around right now, coming down. And Yukgaejang is my winter challenge for you. If you can make it, you'll fight off a cold with all that spice in your body, and you'll feel good. And let's keep cooking.